Hello boys and girls, welcome to Storytime. Today I'm going to be reading the story, Joseph's Coat. Joseph was a kind boy who lived with his family in the land of Canaan. He had 10 older brothers and 1 younger brother. Their father was an old shepherd named Jacob. Jacob loved all of his sons, but he thought Joseph was the most caring of them all. One day, Jacob surprised Joseph with a special gift. It was a brightly colored coat. The older brothers were angry with their father. Jacob had never treated one son better than another until he gave Joseph the coat. That made them angry at Joseph too. The brothers were also upset that they worked in the fields all day while Joseph stayed home with Jacob. One morning, Jacob told Joseph, "You are old enough to work in the fields now. Go help your brothers." Joseph worked very hard tending the sheep, but his brothers were not nice to him. They said many cruel things about Joseph and Jacob. At the end of the day, Joseph told Jacob what his brothers had said. Jacob punished his brothers, but this only made them more angry with Joseph. That night and the next, Joseph had 2 strange dreams. In the first dream, Joseph worked in the fields with his brothers. Each brother had a stalk of wheat tied into a bundle. Joseph's bundle stood up on its own, but his brothers' bundles bowed down to Joseph's. When Joseph told his brothers about the dream, they got angry. "We will never bow down to you," they shouted. In the next dream, the sun, the moon, and 11 stars bowed down to Joseph. He asked his father what it meant. Jacob thought that the dream could be God's way of speaking to this special boy. But he did not tell this to Joseph. Instead, he said, "The stars must be your brothers, and the sun and the moon must be your parents." To make up with his brothers, Joseph packed a basket of food and carried it out to the pasture. When Joseph's brothers saw him in the distance, they shouted, "Here comes the boy dreamer, the one who thinks he will rule over all of us. Let's get rid of him for good. That will teach our father to play favorites." The brothers made a plan to kill Joseph when he arrived. The oldest brother and wisest brother, Reuben, did not like that idea. "Let's just give him a good scare," he suggested. Soon Joseph arrived with the treat for his brothers. They tore off his jacket and threw him into a pit. While Joseph cried for help, his brothers sat down to eat. Just then a caravan of traders rode by. Joseph's mean brothers sold Joseph as a slave to the traders. Before they went home, Joseph's brothers wiped animal blood on Joseph's coat and told their sad father that a wild animal must have killed their brother. The traders sold Joseph to Egyptians. Although he was away from his family, Joseph was not alone. God was always with him. God had given Joseph the ability to understand the meanings of dreams. After many years, word of Joseph's gift reached Pharaoh. Pharaoh had been having strange dreams and called on Joseph for help. "These dreams tell the future of Egypt," Joseph said. "You will have 7 good years. Food will be plentiful, but 7 bad years will follow. The ground will dry up, and your people will be hungry." "What can I do?" Pharaoh sighed. "Find a wise man and put him in charge of saving food while there is plenty of it," Joseph said. "Then the people will not go hungry later." Pharaoh liked Joseph's plan. He asked Joseph to be in charge of it. When the time of hunger came, Joseph's plan worked, and nobody in Egypt went hungry. The people in other lands were not so lucky though. In Canaan, Jacob and his family ran out of food. Joseph's brothers traveled to Egypt to buy food from Pharaoh. They were taken to Joseph, but they did not recognize him. Joseph knew his brothers right away, but he waited. Joseph's brothers bowed down and pleaded for food. Joseph agreed to give them some. Then he invited his brothers to his home for lunch. For lunch, Joseph made his brothers' favorite foods, just as he had done on the day he last saw them. "It is I, your brother," Joseph said. "God has brought you here to me. I love you and I forgive you." Joseph's brothers were amazed. Joseph invited them and the rest of their family to live with him in Egypt. The grateful brothers returned to Canaan, gathered their families, and went back to Egypt to be with Joseph. Jacob and Joseph were finally together again. Well, boys and girls, I hope you enjoyed the story today. I'll see you next time. Bye.